I am here tonight, though, as Edmonton's, right over there, that little city over there, Edmonton's Poet Laureate. Woo! And this is what people say to me. They say, wow, that's so cool. What is that? And it's that I am, just like it might sound, the official poet of Edmonton for the next 2 years. Or as my good friend Pamela Anthony said, well, you know, for the next 2 years, you're the 600-pound gorilla of poetry. I thought that was much better. Because I was trying to wrap my head around the whole job itself, which is to be a cultural ambassador for the city and to represent us at literary events and to talk about the culture of the city. So I think it's a good thing to come as that person to this gathering, because in my other life I also am, sure enough, first-generation Métis, grew up half-breed in a town where everybody else who had any blood at all was French. My dad's from Garden River down in Ontario, and by treaty law I belong to Listigoot Mi'kmaq First Nation, so I can show you my status card. Woo! Woo! But if you count it in the Indigenous way by the mum, you know, I'm actually from Polish descent, because that's where my mom's people are from. So I'm kind of Canadian, I think. I'll talk more about that tomorrow in the writers panel about how we position ourselves as writers. Tonight I just want to give you some poetry. And I wanted to thank the people who were up before us. Boy, that was some really good stuff. And I had in mind a bunch of other poems to do. But, you know, when Art said that about positioning ourselves in terms of language, you know, that we should belong to our nations by virtue of language, I thought, well, that's kind of a good idea in some places. And maybe it's a good idea in the long run, but gee, it leaves out a whole lot of people in the short term, and is it their fault? And I thought, well, I'm going to get up and start a fist fight. Because I'm like that. I'm a gorilla. No, I thought I would do this poem for you instead. Anybody out there speak Mi'kmaq? Yes. Woo! Okay, so you come see me tomorrow and tell me how to do this right. Because I don't speak Mi'kmaq. Although I was recently advertised at a gig in St. Albert as being fluent in both Cree and Mi'kmaq, and I had to write to them and say, no, not even close. Not unless you count bad words in Cree, which I picked up around home, up around the Grand Prairie area, near northeastern BC, and sometimes over the border. But here we go. I thought I would try this anyway. It's a Mi'kmaq fog song, bearing in mind I don't speak the language. I bring this in honor of belonging to those people in some way, in some long distant way. I want you to imagine yourself by the sea. Because that's where it all comes from, the sea. And it's where it all comes back to, is the sea. And if you start with a mountain, by and by the rain will bring it down to be the sea, and the seashore, and the sand. And by you can make sand into glass, and if you look on your table you can see that it's true. With enough time and enough effort you can see through a mountain. Yeah? It just takes a little time. Mi'kmaq fog song. Kikbisan, kikbisak, kikbisan, kikbisak, kikbisan, kikbisak, kikbisan wiyak, ka, 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 ka. Rain turns to rain, turns to rain, becomes a rainbow in the bay. Fog. So much is shrouded in this mystery of time. Uktan, 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 uktan. Just the ocean, just the weave, just the bringing into being. Everything, only everything, starting at the bottom of the ocean. Uktan, uktan, uktan. Give me wisdom. In a whisper they speak. Of course they speak in a whisper. Beside you, underneath you, around you, in the fog of the night, on the ocean, in a wave, they make another world. Uskamuok. They bring into the world, the whole world. Why not? Talma, of course, why not make the whole world? If we must make another world, if we must make yet another world, if we must make yet another world, if we must make yet another world. This is what the rain whispers in the fog. If we must make another world, why not turn into rain? Why not bring rain into this world, this thirsty world, this hungry world, this world of wind? Why not? Uktan, uktan, uktan. It returns in a wave on the ocean. Just the rain turned to rain on the ocean. Sooner or later, we all turn into the rain on the ocean. I have to say, to be here after Shawit is kind of like a Monty Python moment. Something completely different. I was ready to get up and dance, but I'll get up and give you poetry instead. In my job as a poet laureate, I want to say to our city, first of all, who are you people? I've lived in Edmonton for about 25 years, and it's where I came to understand myself in a lot of ways. I'm a free-range Indian. It's good in eggs, why not in Indians? But I'll talk more about that tomorrow. And I think to myself that this is how I serve the vision that my ancestors gave to me. In fact, my father sat me down one time when I was about 10 years old and said, this is what you're going to do. And he laid it all out for me, and I said, well, yeah, we'll see, okay. And you know, sure enough, it seems out to be true. This is the first poem I wrote for the city. And it's looking out into the world. It's looking out in 5 languages. They're not Indigenous languages to hear. And guess what? I don't speak most of them either. Barely speak English most days. Some of you will recognize the French. Maybe a couple of you will recognize the Japanese or Korean, and maybe even the Russian. But we have relationships with those countries, with regions within those countries. And I thought it behooves us to talk in other languages, because my mother and my father both spoke other languages, and then they came to English in school. You know, my mother maybe more willingly than my dad. You can fill in the rest of that blank. And they couldn't give me so much of their old languages, but they could sure give me a grounding in the new one and say, you know what, and it's good to learn. Always good to learn. And in honor of all the people who have had to learn, whether willingly or unwillingly, other languages, and in honor of what a gift that brings us, and in honor of the fact that I sure as heck hope that whoever that was who waved his hand is going to correct my Mi'kmaq tomorrow. I really mean it, because I want to learn how to do it right. Okay, so here we go. This is what holds us together. This is the way stations. And we bow at the same way stations all around the circle of the year. Le printemps, sudden rush of breath like lilacs. Élan soudain de souffle comme lilas. Mayday, apple, willow bloom. Cerisier, fleur de sel, de pomme. Ah, the bees are lifting. Ah, les abeilles sont élevage. Chante élevage, chant qui est né l'été, the summer is born. Summer natsu. Mayo naka no akarusa. Midnight's brightness. That's the sky here. Midori no sora, green sky. Tsumitai musu, cool water. Ka no bairin no tsuru no kanashi uta. The sad song, the fiddle string lament, the violin song of summer, the mosquito. Lamenting the fall into autumn, ga il. Fire colors crushed to brown. Hojiga kalsege kalin seksang. Sharpened, now kalabge, polished, cruelly shining, takta janin hage pineyun. Frost and darkness and fallen stars. Silya dum talakan biol. Talakan biol. The stars fall down to us in the winter. And isn't it true in every tongue, the stars fall down to us in the winter? Sima. Cholod. Itot cholod. Otchayanich cavalier. This cold. This cold is a tireless suitor. Oh, how he loves me. Inina resnitzak. Stalke vaimsies cholodnum plechom zmui. He loves me with my eyes frosted shut. He loves me with my cold shoulder pushed against him. Oh, how this winter loves me. Krovnasha payot, until my blood sings. Pisna vput suvyot, and it calls me like a star to my road. And I know this road, and you know this road. And we bow at the same way stations all around the circle of our year. Isn't it so? I think of the city where I live, and I hope you, if you're not from around here, you get a chance to visit it, as kind of the friend that you have that you can't get rid of, and eventually you find out they're the best friend you have. I couldn't understand the word of the song, the last song that Shawit was giving us there, but that's it. You find friends that you never want to leave because they're the one you come back to, and that's important in this life. And Edmonton's like that to me. It's not a prepossessing place. It's not glamorous. It's not particularly handsome. It's kind of that annoying friend that just bugs you until you give in and become friends with them. Okay, fine. Here's my poem for the season of autumn, and it's called Hunting Season. Hey, when the sun's gone south of the river, the hunter's moon hangs above the sedge, and you glide by my door northwestering and shaking the season's edge. Oh, I felt your sharp glance cut my way, throwing leaves of gold and dry promises at me when the sun's gone south of the river. Listen, I could outrace you, but I can't outpace you, and it's not without grace that you frost the morning's breath, with your warning that my home is yours to own whenever you will. Oh, do you see me shiver? Is that why you whisper purple leaves of willow grace my sidewalks with a cape of lace cast down so I could walk in song the while the leaves are chanting? Ha, can't outrace you, can't outpace you. Hunter, maybe when the hunter's moon flies high, you'll whisper that the time has come to lay the fire, set the feast, the drinks are warm, your home is mine, I have been warned. Lead your dance now then. Enchant me with a fox trail draped down Mill Creek's shoulder all ablaze with pembina. You vow to write me a love song, chickadees on my open hand. Sure, your need is like rowans lit by wilder ribbons of beads of blood, against a darker sky. Well, I couldn't see it in the summer light, Hunter. Couldn't see it when in the summer light I hung those beads of green upon the branches, the very branches that now turn dark with blood. You couldn't see it either, how to light the falling sky now that the sun has gone south of the river. Listen, I won't outrace you. You have been warned. Come blow by my door in the morning. Come stalk the frosted grass. When the hunter's moon is high above the sedge, I'll lead you down to the river bottom. I'll scratch my name across your hand. I'll crack a whip of stars across your line of vision. When your hunter's moon turns blue with cold, well, my love will light a lantern song, okay? We'll drink like winter birds the ice wine of these berries fallen into shattered grass and glass, and your brittle golden words all fractured down to the cold brown truth. You followed me home, etched your power songs through my garden, and I can't outrace you and I can't outpace you, and now in your time, come. Sun's going south of the river, cold will prove the soul, and then you better be ready to dance, for I have a fire and I have a friend and I have a feast to escape to. So hunter, I will embrace you, and when you finally capture me, be ready to dance, and we'll glide through solemn spruce, ski songs in counterpoint to rabbits. Even now I'm writing you strings of stars to hang down the avenues. And when I catch my breath and let you howl blue, cold, drunken blizzards out there alone, you better know I'm waiting to see what you can write, what snow you can slash down Gallagher Hill. Where could I dare to race with my children, to fly, in fact, like a dragon down the ice? Hey, I'll call you sculptors from all around the world to make you ornaments of ice. How about that? And if you lay snow down all the shoulders of your river valley, sure. I'll draw down ribbons on skis and I'll slide with sharp abandon, and you will know then. When the season has turned to blue, oh hunter, I've been waiting for you. And then winter, when you come, I'll be waiting and we will dance. Are you ready for that? Do you want to dance? You'll keep speaking of dancing, so let's dance. I'll give you a couple more. This is from my book called Fifth World Drum, and I've had a lot of fun having this book out in the world. It took me a long time to get into the idea of actually publishing a book. I always thought to myself, oral culture is a thing, you know, I should be doing theater and performative, and that's where I live, is doing performative writing. About the time I published this book, everyone was moving into digital stuff, and so, you know, right on the cutting edge, the gorilla on the edge, that's me. This is for anyone who was ever at an Naukin, down in Okanagan there. Valley colors. The colors of those days are all etched yellow, blue. Yellow raven's eye, sand under fire, on the road to Naramata, a certain depth of mountain water in flow. Listen, they say the cougars took the foals that year, but I walked, I tell you, all the way up Skaha, and I didn't see a single damn one. Saw a red willow there along the side of the track, saw the old Kettle Valley Railway fallen into nothing. Saw the rocks where they tell me that the stories are true, and it doesn't matter who you believe, one side or the other, somebody went over that cliff, they say, and their spirits live on in the rock. Well, it's just the truth. So you walk along and you see the truth. Just what really was, and blue, the sky. It was long ago that the sky got in my blood, just like you, huh? If I landed here a while. Well, so does wind in a certain season. You could see it. Holed up in the lakeshore ice. And there it is, the proof of it. What else can tell you? Plate tectonics. It moves, it moves, it moves. Watch the ice pile up, you know, it moves in its season like everything. Continents, ice, poets, some things must fulfill the ritual of motion. Blue and the air that moves. Okay, blue. Oh, blue, the smoke. The air blue with tobacco. Breath, fire, sacred plant, loan me one, okay? Loan me a prayer beside the dumpster. It leaves a yellow stain and a memorial bruise on the air. I had a friend who told me, just before she lapsed, hey, isn't it like we could be praying all across the land? Hey, isn't it like we could be praying all across the land every day? Hey, isn't it like... the colors of those days still drift up against the hills. There's a prayer hanging from every tree. There's a wisp of smoke waiting for you, and there's those mountains, or they call them mountains. You can look right over them, you know. You can look right over them, right down to the bottom of the lake. And you won't reach the bottom of the mystery, the thing that makes it move. What makes it move? Fulfill the inexorable rhythm of motion, the ritual that we all, continents, ice, poets, must make in our season. So, you were there, and I was there, and the sky was there, and I think I saw a song that began there. And those were the colors, blue and gold. About the ocean. It comes back to me in quiet moments, the softness of one summer night. Smell of flowers up against the sea. We walked up St. Mary's, up to see Maggie. She talked about prayer sticks, piotr, and whale. And it comes back in the wash of those waves who sing Migwasha and the ring I gave to my sister. To say that it all comes dancing, full of fog through streetlights. The love comes down in different ways and different waves. You can't decide. The coming children will speak for us all. You can't decide who they will be, but you can decide who you will be. How to spiral, how to love, how to unravel what we fear. I know my heart. I know where it is. You live there already. Why not? All you need to know about oceans is that a running shoe, lost from a tanker on one side, came to earth on the other, so nothing gets lost beyond the power of the tide. And we are the tidal creature. We are the heartbeat of the earth. Lim limt, lim limt, lim limt, lim limt, we lalin, chimegwech, hi hi, lim limt, we lalin, chimegwech, hi hi, lim limt, we lalin, chimegwech, hi hi, lim limt. There's still a soft chain of belonging woven all across the land. These words, these few words, these suffering words, these tongues that speak in clumsy words. Hey, there's still a soft chain of belonging. Welalin, chimegwech, hi hi, lim lim. Thank you. Good night.